Hi there, greetings and salutations. My name is Jake Query. That is Derek Schultz, who is lacking something today that sadly at one point in his life he said he would never have. Now that he doesn't have it, he is missing it terribly.
Panicking.
Huh?
I'm panicking.
Do you remember, Derek? Don't you
Watch.
remember when you refused to wear a watch?
We did a whole segment when Apple Watches first came out. We did a whole segment on why would you want this and how stupid. I already have a phone.
Will you back me up though that I was right on that?
You know what happened to me? For some reason, my phones, and this has been the case over the last 7 or 8 years, and I set the vibrate or whatever on there, like I said, notify me. They don't always notify me when I get text messages. So my watch has cellular on it, and it always pings me when I get a text. So I could just go like this and see who the text is.
Understood.
And it actually is pretty convenient, especially when I'm driving, so I don't have to look down on my phone.
But you just remember at the time that we had that discussion, and I know there's great things that the iPhone can, or the Apple Watch can do. But at the time, like our friend Ryan was like, no, this is going to, watches are done.
Revolutionize the world.
Yeah, everyone's going to have, literally that will be, everyone will have a personal, and I'm like, I don't think that's going to happen.
It's great for working out too. So, obviously as somebody, I don't need to tell you at home that works out, it's great to have an Apple Watch, track caloric intake and muscle mass and things like that. It's my life.
Okay.
It's my life.
By the way, Bailey & Wood is the presenting sponsor, and we are very, very happy and honored that it is the case. Bailey & Wood is the best when it comes to mortgage finances and setting you up for the best interest rate. BAWFG.com is the website for Bailey & Wood, which started in the south side of Indianapolis and is now expanded throughout central Indiana. And not only are they dedicated to keeping you in that home or helping you get a new home at a great interest rate, but giving back to the community as well. Derek, they have their golf outing upcoming, which I know is a highlight every year of the summer.
Yeah, it's a week from Thursday, August 7th. Can you believe it?
Yep.
It's always kind of like weirdly like the official kickoff of fall for me, like mentally.
I know.
Because I'm thinking
that.
When I'm at Dies Walk, I'm hanging out with Mike, we're eating sausage, little biscuits. I start thinking about, oh my God, football's right around the corner.
Yeah.
And, he's got all his Dolphins players there. Mark Clayton, Jeff Saraday's usually there. It just jumpstarts fall for me.
It's a fun deal. When they do the golf ball drop from the helicopter.
It's the best.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they bring out the guard for the national anthem before they start. The pomp, the circumstance.
It's unbelievable.
The camaraderie. It's just a wonderful morning and a fantastic afternoon and day out there at Dies Walk.
Let's get to it. We talked about the fact that between that and then also the Great Indiana State Fair, which starts on Friday, both of those things kind of, to me, mean that, in fact, we are transitioning from summer into fall. That means football season.
Yep.
Colts are at camp, and yesterday Anthony Richardson went 6 for 6.
Everything's fixed.
There's a parade. Yep.
Everything's fixed. So, look, I don't want to go too crazy. It's just training camp, but I would set the bar. If you told me over-under on Anthony Richardson's completion percentage, I'd say 90 for the season. No.
Okay.
Look, all seriousness, it is better to look good than look bad. That's really what training camp is all about. Just have the guys that are going to be on the roster look good. We worry about the back-end roster guys and having great performances and diamonds in the rough and all of that. I worry about that with 50, 51, 52, 53, the very back of the roster. That's what I worry about. With the core essential pieces, and say what you want about Anthony Richardson, he is a core essential piece. He is likely going to be the starting quarterback of this team. You'd rather look good than look bad. And with the way that he has struggled in even simple throws, to have pads on and to go 6 for 6, great. I think that's a great step in the right direction. Daniel Jones played well. It's funny, Jake, how much they've mirrored each other.
Right.
When one has been disappointing, the other one's been disappointing. When one's been meh, the other one's been meh. When one's been good, the other one's been good.
In baseball, a tie goes to the runner.
Yeah.
In football quarterback battles, the tie goes to the incumbent. I think Daniel Jones is going to be the starting quarterback on week 1, but if Daniel Jones, as I think is going to be the case, is the starter, I don't think it's going to be because Daniel Jones won the job. I think it's going to be because Anthony Richardson lost it. And I think that still has potential to happen.
Yeah, I can't back off my hottest take, and this has been the case since the day he was signed, is that Daniel Jones is going to be the week 1 starter. And that's a mix of just...
But I go back to, Derek, it's going to be because Anthony Richardson didn't win it.
Fair. Right? I'm just trying to explain my standpoint on it. My standpoint was, okay, there may be an injury. Nobody wants that, right? Because he's a great kid and you want Anthony Richardson to be healthy and succeed. But there also is the fact that he's going to raise the floor so his valleys aren't going to be as pronounced as Richardson's valleys are in camp and in off-season workouts and all of that. But so far, I don't think Jones has done anything to win the job. So, gun to my head with where we sit on July, whatever day this is, I think the betting man would say 55-45 Richardson lean. I don't think Jones is out of it by any means.
But Jones has not done anything that wows you, right?
But I don't know if I agree with the take that, well, it's in a way, I feel like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth here. I hear a lot of people say, well, it's Richardson's job to lose. And yeah, but Richardson could conceivably be pretty good and Daniel Jones could be great and they go with Jones. The problem is that Jones has never been great during his career, so
I'm not
expecting that to happen.
Richardson has the higher ceiling if they are able to maximize everything that they have within them.
And the lower floor.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. Now, the one thing that is interesting about Jones and Richardson that the Colts have not had in a while, Derek, and that's this, and I'm going to give an Indy 500 analogy, which is bad, I realize. Excuse me, which is a bad thing to do, I realize, but I'm going to do it anyway. Let's just say that the Indy 500 still ran like it did back in the old days where you had relief drivers, okay? Let's say that you and I are teammates in the Indy 500 for a car.
Hell yeah, brother.
So you're my relief driver.
We'd win the whole thing. Well, you'd be my relief driver. That's how it would work.
No, I don't think so.
Can you imagine us with our goggles and soot?
But either way, let's just say if that is the case, what you would want when the drivers are making the transition and one driver's getting out and the other's getting in, okay, or like in the 24-hour Le Mans, whatever.
Yeah.
You want drivers that drive the same kind of car, so that you don't have to make many changes to the car.
The setup remains
the same, and everything remains the same, and it feels the same for me as it feels for you. Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson, for the most part, the style in which they play, you are not having to change the car a lot if you're transitioning from one to the other because they run the same driving style. And that's different than what we've seen in the past. Mm-hmm. When you go from Richardson to Flacco, when you go from Ryan to Ellinger, when you go from Carson Wentz to I can't even remember who his backup would have been, Jacoby Brissett, who I don't even remember, whoever it would have been. You had differing styles, and it was too big a jolt to the system. At least with these two guys, the way in which they play, the areas in which they operate, the style in which they're throwing out of the pocket are similar enough to one another that to the rest of the roster, I think it would be seamless if you're having to go back and forth on them.
Yeah, and it took the Colts a while, I think, to kind of figure that out, right? No offense to Gardner Minshew and Joe Flacco. Those guys were established players, and you knew what you were going to get with them. So I think the Colts viewed it as, well, they could be safety blankets for us because they've been starters before in the
forgot
league.
About Gardner Minshew.
Right? But stylistically, you're right that they didn't fit in at all, whereas Jones really does fit in to the offense. And look, Jake, the overwhelming odds are in favor of the Colts having to give starter snaps to each one of those guys this year. It doesn't even matter who the week one starter is. The thought that either one of them would play 17 healthy games is really borderline outlandish.
I mean,
right?
that's
how
unusual
their careers have gone.
in just in the NFL
just in general, but
yeah.
especially with these two guys is what I'm saying here. So I think the Colts know that both of these guys are going to have to play. So if you know that both of them are going to have to play, you might as well have it be somewhat interchangeable as far as the offense is concerned.
Yeah, I would agree with that. There has not been a lot, and maybe this is good news. This is a camp this year for the Colts that so far has not had seismic waves other than Bernhard Raimann getting an extension. But the good news is there hasn't been a lot of drama so far.
No.
You know, the quarterback
or
competition or injuries, knock on wood, right? There are some interesting battles taking place. I mean, Justin Whaley pushing Jalen Jones and Juju Brents at the corner is of moderate interest. I think the receiver position, you're still looking to see who that number, like 4 or 5 receiver is going to be. A.D. Mitchell, at what point is he going to wake up? So there are things to watch, but for the most part so far, it's been kind of status quo for the Colts. And maybe that's bad because what's their ceiling? 10-7?
It depends, but a lot of it depends on the quarterback because you can talk me into this. This roster looks pretty good on paper. This secondary looks fantastic. I mean, think about where we were with this secondary even a year ago, but 2 years ago. They, with a straight face, were trying to say that Dallas Flowers was going to be your starting cornerback.
Well, I think
a kick returner was
the
going to
new
be your
defensive coordinator, Lou Anarumo's defense, I think, deals with aggression up front and then stability in the back of it. You know what I mean? And The one thing that they have that I think is good is they went out and they got players in the defensive backfield that are used to playing in the system that Anarumo likes to do, which is kind of a junk defense, mixing up what kind of looks you're going to do, keeping quarterbacks at bay, and yet you have a backline defense there that kind of oversee all of that and can kind of captain and quarterback what's going on. And so I think that's going to allow for the front four in particular to be aggressive because they've got that safety net of understanding behind them. I just don't think you had that before. I didn't think you had the range flexibility before that you have now with some of the players they have.
When's the last time the Colts had a secondary like this? How far back do you have to go? I mean, I'm serious. Like, you probably have to go back a ways because even when they had, like Vontae Davis or they've had good cornerbacks. They had Greg Toller or somebody on the other side.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they had issues. They had a weak link somewhere in there. And you look at it now, and it's hard to find that. I mean, Jalen Jones as your starting cornerback, or even Juju Brents, who's unproven because of his health, as your starting cornerback. That's a different thing than having Juju Brents as your fourth guy, as your fifth guy.
I do like Juju Brents. I mean, Juju Brents to me is very intriguing.
Yeah, we just don't know. We just don't know with him. Have you interviewed him, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an unbelievable
Fun
interview.
guy. Yeah.
Just a really sharp dude, and he's great about talking about his journey and his path and the whole deal. But I've been really impressed by him. I just want to see him be healthy because this is kind of. If it's not going to happen for him this year, then the Colts are going to have to move on. Probably.
I'm going to use Mel Kiper buzzwords. I apologize. I love Juju Brents' length, and I just think he's a bigger corner, and I think he's athletic. The question is, does he have like the closing speed? I don't know that we've had enough time to see whether he does or not.
Yeah, because he was drafted for the old defense, right?
Correct.
The big, rangy kind of cornerbacks, the long cornerbacks like that, and it's a little bit different here. But what I love about Lou Anarumo, and I think sometimes this is going to burn you, but also a lot of the time it's going to help, is that he models the defense to the opponent each week. Whereas Gus Bradley, and I defended Gus Bradley on this show because I didn't think a lot of the problems were all Gus Bradley related. He became kind of the fall guy, right, for everything that went wrong with them. But it was, here's our defense, this is what we're going to do, this is it every single week. It's like when you go in, to Chili's, you know what you're going to expect with the menu. Sometimes that's fine. Sometimes
I like Chili's.
All I want is a burger and some mozzie sticks.
Every year the mini marathon, Saturday, Thursday night, I go to Chili's. I get the same.
And an awesome blossom.
Tradition,
but
right?
you know exactly what to expect.
Awesome blossom.
And sometimes that's fine.
That's the Outback, right?
But sometimes I like going to the restaurant that is a little more highbrow, and they change the menu every day. Let's say they got some delicious Indiana mushrooms in this day. They picked it on their 5-mile run this morning, the chef did. And he's going to throw that in and make a delicious risotto.
Nah, you're bougie with that crap.
That's what I want. Sometimes I want that.
Here's the funny thing.
And that's what Lou is going to do with his defense.
Here's the funny thing, okay? So if you look at your palate and my palate, I run in the circles and live in the lifestyle of the upper palate restaurants.
You do. Yeah.
And yet, I'm a Chili's guy.
Yep.
You, on the other hand, run with the Chili's crowd, but you're wanting to go to these high palate places.
I will say, if it doesn't at least have 4 stars on Yelp, I won't walk through the door. I'm not counting fast food. I'm talking like I will not go to a sit-down restaurant that doesn't at least have 4 stars on Yelp. And I'm a Yelper, so I give reviews as well on Yelp. Yeah.
You is this an app you have?
You know what Yelp is.
Of course, I know what Yelp is.
Yeah,
but so you have the app for it.
Yeah.
You don't just okay. Yeah. And then you go to it and you check. And so, like, if somebody says, "We're having a birthday dinner," and and you go and it's 3.5 stars, you're out.
It's not that I'm out. It's just that maybe I suddenly feel cold coming on, and I can't make it tonight. Or maybe James is feeling under the weather, even if he's not. Or I'll just go and have a drink.
You know my theory on this, right? My Shiba cat food theory on restaurants.
You think that
I maintain and I will
just mentally convince themselves if it's highbrow, then it's good.
Yeah. I will stand by this forever. And the last time I mentioned this on the radio, one of the biggest and best known chefs in Central Indiana sent me a thing that said you're not wrong, and that is if you opened a restaurant and you just created on Yelp that it was a 5-star restaurant and you had some review that said that it was the best of the best and you had a world-renowned chef that you just hired from Singapore and you bought, here's all you need. Here's your key. You need 3 things. Some of those Shiba cat food slabs.
Yep. Fancy plate.
rectangular porcelain plate,
Yeah.
right? China.
Yeah, sure.
1 bottle of Hershey syrup.
Sprig of parsley.
Put 3 Sheba things on the long plate, drizzle, and you got to do it, like the little swiggly of the Hershey syrup on top. Serve it. Call it the pate of some exotic animal from a different continent. Bada boom, $78 a plate. You're in business all day long.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks it's the most disgusting thing they've ever eaten, but because Yelp said it's 5 stars and the fake review said that it's exquisite, everybody would be like, oh, it's amazing.
Well, it
awakens all the senses.
I have had chocolate chinchilla pate, and it's actually delicious. I know that's what you're referring to there.
Chinchilla?
Yeah, it's delicious. A little pate, little chocolate drizzle on there. Yummy.
Okay.
Some people but the problem is, Jake, is like when we go to New Orleans for the Final Four, I need you to not get a cheeseburger with crinkle cut fries. Like I need you to like actually be like when in Rome and lean into it a little bit.
I spent a week in New Orleans covering the playoffs in 2000 and ate probably 246 pounds of crawfish at Touffet.
It's good. Heck yeah, brother.
It's very good. Enough for a lifetime.
I know you're missing out. Let's talk about the Raimann deal because
how about the slice of pizza on Bourbon Street? Did that count?
That was I was fading kind of in and out at that point, but I remember that really hitting the spot. I remember that slice of pizza hitting the spot. I have no idea if it was good or not. It tasted good in that moment. That was
just before we got back to the hotel and you started ripping people's do not disturb signs off their door and spiking it to the ground and yelling, "Don't mess with Derek Schultz after 2 Manhattans."
It's hard double fisting hand grenades to eat a slice of pizza at the same time, but we tried our best.
Bernhard Raimann gets a 4-year deal, $100 million, $62 million guaranteed. It was the Chargers, I think, that signed a tackle to a 4-year, $115.
Right.
Yeah, and so that kind of set the benchmark. 28.5, I think, is what he got, but he got $92 million guaranteed. Bernhard Raimann, congratulations to him. And you know what? I'll give Chris Ballard credit. This was a pick that when they took Raimann, many thought maybe it was a bit of a gamble.
Did he have short
where they
arms
took him.
Or something? There was some
I think that's what it was. Yeah. And I remember when they drafted him and he came out on the stage.
Like little T-Rex arms.
So, but he has obviously become a solid player for them and a pillar player for them moving forward. And assuming he stays healthy, kudos to the Colts for finding that guy, getting him, and locking him in.
Yeah, look, you don't need your left tackle to be Orlando Pace, right? You just need him to be Anthony Costanzo,
right?
And I think that's
he was a really good player.
He was a really good player for a long time, and we didn't. I don't think in the moment realized how good of a player he was. It's actually astonishing that he was never. Not that the Pro Bowl matters, but it's astonishing that he was never one.
Raimann got beat pretty bad in his first year, but
he got thrown into the fire.
He did.
And look, everybody got beat bad in 22. That whole team was kind of a disaster. But I want to give you some credit because I think your interview might have expedited this process.
Do you really?
Because the Colts caught a lot of hell because it was like, guys, what are you doing? What do you mean you're not on the same page? All the reaction that I saw was people were astonished that the Colts.
So the interview you're talking about is on the radio show. I had Bernhard Raimann on and asked him about being a free agent, and he basically said, "My understanding is we're not close."
Yeah.
And here's where he was smart when he said, "I know the value of this position." And my agent knows the value of this position, but we have not yet seen that the Colts know the value of the position.
Yeah.
It's a smart marketing play, right?
He doesn't offer, one thing I've learned about being professional athletes, and this goes against the narrative because people say, well, they're dumb, whatever. They know whenever they utter anything publicly, they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, because they are in 2025, guys are much more guarded than they used to be with what they say. So he knew exactly what he was doing there, and good for him. He got paid. There was no reason why the Colts shouldn't have gotten this done before the season started.
$25 million a year, man.
92 guaranteed.
No, 62 guaranteed. 92 guaranteed was the Chargers.
What's the Slater deal? Yeah, 62 guaranteed, but still 62 guaranteed. It's just insane. Fifth most at his position, and he is a unicorn, Jake, because you can find third-round receivers. Third-round corners.
You're right.
You don't find franchise third-round left tackles.
I know
they're all first-rounders.
Again, that's why I give
all of them.
Give credit to Chris Ballard.
Yeah.
We knock him a lot, but that was a good pick.
It's an impact position. This isn't a guard. This isn't an off-ball linebacker. This isn't a running back. No offense to Jonathan Taylor and Quentin Nelson and guys like that. This is a position that is much more impactful than those positions.
I would agree with that.
So. Yeah, good for Raimann, good for Ballard.
And you know what? The Colts also, it looks like, may have, like, the center position. I think they've got a good hold there as well, right?
Yeah, we'll
and
see.
Again, credit to Ballard. I mean, Bordolini's a guy that was drafted that had played different positions in college. They put him at the center position. They let Ryan Kelly go, who's a popular player and had been a good soldier for them. And I think Bartolini looks like he's going to be the guy, should he stay healthy, a long-term center.
And they like Gonzalez as well, who is part of that class, if I'm not mistaken,
Correct.
right? The two guys that they drafted. So, and those are your Ryan Kelly and Will Fry's replacements. So I think the offensive line is going to – again, Jacob, we're talking about this. Talk me into the 2025 Colts. And the offensive line looks solid. The pass catchers, especially if things hit for Mitchell and with the upgrade at tight end with Warren.
It's a big if, though. Big if with Mitchell.
Defensively, what I'm most worried about defensively is the linebackers, because outside of Franklin, you've got zero there as far as proven commodities.
Do you know if Franklin's a system guy or is he, you know what I mean?
Well, and you have a bunch of kind of like almost like fringe NFL, Cam McGrone and, Joe Bocci. It's like, okay, a bunch of whatever, like kind of waiver wire type guys. But outside of that, the defensive secondary looks much, much better. If the two defensive tackles and Stewart and Buckner stay healthy and you get solid play from Pay and Latu makes a leap, again, these are all
Derek,
big what ifs.
Even at that,
At
that, what's their ceiling?
If Anthony Richardson doesn't win the job and become a really good quarterback, then the ceiling probably is like 10 wins.
I mean, even if Richardson's the next coming of Patrick Mahomes, what are they? 12-5. I mean,
but if you're 12-5, you're a contender to me, I think, right?
You're a contender for the division for sure.
Well, you're a contender for the division if you're 9-8. You know what I mean? 12-5, okay. You're a 12-5, you're a contender, I think, and it's hard in a Patrick Mahomes world. Or, you see some of these teams like Buffalo and Philly, and Philly's roster. My God, it's just you go position by position. You're just like, damn, it's just loaded. You know what I mean?
By the way,
it's hard to compare the Colts to where
I've
those
tried
teams
this new thing recently, by the way, where I'm like extra hydrating in the morning.
Yeah.
So I got to use the bathroom. So carry it for like 45 seconds.
Well, I was just going to go right to the sandwich.
Well, but I got to use the bathroom. Just take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about Ryne Sandberg.
Well, no, we got to do Hoagie and Hero of the Week. We always do that in the first segment. You can't hold it for 2 seconds?
I've been holding it for 20 minutes.
You couldn't have done this before the show started?
Tactical error on my behalf.
All right, here's what I'll do. I'm going to talk about the Hoagie eating contest. Fine, okay. No. Go take a whiz, whatever. I'll do the Hoagie eating contest here.
Watch this. Watch how fast.
I want to talk about this.
Derek, this is what you have to look forward to when you're 52.
This is so sad.
Laugh now if you want. So I told you, you're going to have hair on your back someday, and you're running around, and you look like like a banshee.
I have Ashley Dude on Sunday nights, and there have been more that have been popping up. Yeah, not that you guys wanted to hear about that. Who's hungry now? Our Hoagie Hero of the Week brought to you by our friends at Hoagies and Hops and Chili Water Brewing. It is the 10th anniversary upcoming for Hoagies and Hops. How about that? When they first moved into their place at Fletcher Place back in the old days, and now they're at 42nd and Boulevard, obviously in the tap room with Chili Water Tap Room, and they've been there for 6-7 years now at this point, but 10 years since Christina opened the door. She's been slanging sandwiches since then, and the Hoagie eating contest is coming up Saturday. Let me make sure that I get the date right. September 13th. Saturday, September 13th. And what's so cool about this contest is that it's not just a contest and then everybody goes home. It turns into a neighborhood block party. So live music down there at Hoagies and Hops. We'll have the Hoagie eating contest, which is always fun. It's usually a spectacular early fall day. We want to see all of you down there. I always participate. I'm going to try to get Jake to participate this year. My buddy Smock, who's the godfather of my son, I think he's going to do it this year. It is a giant Hog Island sando that you try to put down. And actually, that was really fast.
I told you.
That was really fast. I'm just talking about the Hoagie eating contest. And it's a wonderful day. Hoagiesandhops.com for more details. They got flyers in store with a picture of me.
You know what? It's a fundraiser.
Yeah, there's a picture of me on the Hoagie eating contest flyer worm.
It's a fundraiser with the FUN as the capital letters. See, that's another sign.
Are you doing the contest?
No, I always come out and watch you.
No, don't watch. Do. Can you do the contest this year?
I'll sit and have a chili water.
This is not the sandwich that we'll be eating.
Speaking of hydrating, chili water, this is fabulous.
Okay, well, go to Jake.
The Blood on the Trex Blood Orange IPA, because IPA typically a little bit of hop to it, right? So you get that, obviously. But with the orange accentuation, it kind of mellows that out. And you get that slight sweet. I mean, obviously a fruit flavor of the orange, but fantastic.
Good. One of their core beers.
Man,
Blood on the Trex IPA.
Perfect for late summer, early fall, too.
Every sandwich on Christina's menu is a core sandwich, but this is the Market Street. Really, really good. You got me? Yeah. Look at that. Really, really good here. We got ham. We got Prove. We got house-made Thousand Isle. House-made slaw. Delicious.
Fabulous.
Chop turk. Chop turkey. Besides ham, chop turk.
Chew what you're...
Besides just the ham, chop turk.
Chopped turkey.
People know what I'm talking about.
Turkey.
Chopped turk, house-made Thousand Isle, house-made slaw, ham, Prove, Luisio's bread, South Jersey. Delicious. Really, really good. Our hero of the week. I give it to Bubba Wallace. Good story. He broke a 100 race winless streak. It's still one of NASCAR's crown jewel events. I know that the only time the Brickyard comes up in conversations when people are talking about how diminished the Brickyard is now compared to where it used to be. And then the NASCAR fans, I think, get a little defensive about, Daytona and Charlotte. And they're like, well, yeah, Indy's great, but it's kind of a boring race and whatever. It's still one of the core races that the drivers want to win. And I don't know if they're doing that maybe some of them are doing lip service to that. But the ones that I hear from every single year say it's one of the crown jewels.
Here's the thing about Bubba Wallace, okay? And I realize in 2025, the discussion of like the first African-American to do this or that, we would like to say that we're past that. But yet this is significant to many people in the legacy of motorsports. Because you think about the fact that there was a time in 1924 where you had to have, essentially a division of racers just for those. At the time it was listed as, for colored racers. But in 1924, they had a league that had to come about because white race car drivers were not allowed to race against non-white race car drivers. I know that was 100 years ago, but that means that we're not that far removed in terms of the legacy or, the generations of people who are connected to that, the Joey Rays of the world, the Charlie Wiggins of the world, that had a dream of racing somewhere and were not allowed that because of restrictions that were put in place. The Joey Ray began racing stock cars in 1947, raced until 1963, made his first Cup start, I think, in 1949. There had already been one before him, Wendell Scott, who had raced in Cup as a minority. But that still, we're talking about the color barrier being broken, and there are many drivers that dreamed either in open wheel or in stock car or whatever of racing at the most historic tracks. And yes, that opportunity has now been around for some 35 years at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It was around before, but Willie T. Ribbs broke that color barrier in 1991. It meant something to the drivers that saw the older drivers that saw Willie T. Ribbs because he was fulfilling a dream they had. And yeah, the opportunity's been there for a long time, but it doesn't diminish or take away from the fact and the significance of the first African-American to win at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the first black driver to win on the oval. Obviously, Lewis Hamilton won there as a Brit in 2007 in the U.S. Grand Prix, but that was on the road course. So it was significant, but it was mostly significant for Bubba Wallace because of his team being partnered with Michael Jordan, the fact that by winning it got him into the playoffs, the things that are happening with his team in terms of a lawsuit, but more so for Bubba Wallace because he earned that victory and he flat out won that race by not once but twice holding off Kyle Larson, one of the best drivers of his generation, and doing so while low on fuel, going into overtime. That was a driver's drive. That was a winner's win. That was not a fluke. That was not a weird circumstance. That was not a suspicious circumstance. That was a legitimate seize of a victory by Bubba Wallace. Yeah,
and it makes the race result relevant because I think it's
Correct.
A name that resonates outside stock car racing. Like, no offense to some of these guys and they're great drivers, but if, like Josh Berry won the race, it'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. Whatever. Whereas with Bubba winning, it does help, I think, as far as, getting the news out there about it. And we'll talk about this in the next segment about attendance and all of that. I think the Brickyard is in, I wouldn't call it a healthy place, but I would say a manageable place.
Fair.
these last couple of years, but we'll expand upon that coming up in the next segment. Thanks again to our friends at Hoagies and Hops, hoagiesandhops.com.
This is fabulous.
42nd and Boulevard, southwestern edge of Midtown. Chili Water Tap Room as well. Blood on the Tracks, the Blood Orange IPA, and their delicious collection of beers. Go in, have it on tap, grab some cans to go. Hell, do both. And enjoy these last couple of weeks of summer as well out on the porch at 42nd and Boulevard. We come back, we'll talk Brickyard 400, and we will remember one of the true icons of the sport. Jake, I think this is a guy that more so than any other fan base might be the most iconic and most universally beloved of any player for any team of my lifetime.
I would agree.
And we'll talk about the passing of Ryne Sandberg when we return. It's Query and Schultz here on the ISC Sports Network.
Tonight.
You know we cover all sports in Central Indiana. Hop in, it's going to be a long night.
Bailey & Wood Mortgage Lender, proud partner of News 8 Sports Hummer.
Hey, AC!
Nice snap.
Mortgage is a snap! Duh!
Bailey & Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
Welcome back. Bailey & Wood Financial Group presents Query and Schultz here on the ISC Sports Network. Alongside Jake Query, I'm Derek Schultz, 855-350-HOME, BAWFG.com. For our friends at Bailey & Wood, we just talked about their golf outing. We appreciate them being the presenting sponsors. Let's get, actually, since we just talked about Bubba, let's kind of close the book on the Brickyard 400. They're saying around, for the attendance, around 70,000. Doug Bull said a little bit down. He thinks 6K down from where it was year over year. I still think, and the people that defend it say, well, it's better than 80, 85, whatever it is, percent of NASCAR races as far as attendance is concerned. And you and I have talked about this. 50,000 in that place feels like there are 5 people there. And I've been there for Brickyards when it was probably fewer than 50,000 that were in there. But I think 70,000 is a fine number for a weekend day. School's about to start. It's oppressively hot or humid or both.
I think the forecast did not help walk up, right?
No.
Because it was like, hey, it's going to be steaming hot. It's there was a chance of rain, all that, right?
I think 70,000 is about what you could expect. There's just not much lipstick to put on what is a little bit of a pig. I mean, the Gen 7 car just does not race well there. It just doesn't. The Xfinity cars do. And I'm glad they're back on the oval because it just didn't feel right to have them on the road course. It didn't feel right. And it's still Indy, but the draw of the Brickyard for me, and this is coming from somebody, I didn't go to the 94 through 04 races, and apparently it was more racy back then.
It was also, you triggered that in my mind, Derek. It is impossible to illustrate for somebody who is under the age of 25 how massive that race was for its first 8 to 10 years.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
The draw of it for me has always been, this is the most popular form of motorsport in America, and they're here at the greatest racetrack in the world. That's always been, and it's a one-off, right? NASCAR Cup goes to a lot of places twice, repeat times. Indy's only Indy once, and that's always been the draw for me, just to kind of see them, even if they're just running parade laps out there, just to see the stock cars and the Cup cars out there. That's always been the draw, more than the racing element. So I think it's at a good place. Is it a healthy place? Well, no. I mean, a healthy place was even in 2006, 2007, when they were still easily drawing 100,000 out there. But once the tire fiasco happened in 08, it just kind of did this. I will say, I think it bottomed out around 2016, 17 or so, and it's bounced back a little bit since then.
Right, I would agree with that.
So the Brickyard has been in worse shape than it is right now.
But I think that mirrors NASCAR in general, right? I mean, NASCAR kind of had its dip, and I think it's bounced back nicely. And now, is it ever going to be back to what it was in the Dale Earnhardt, Jeff Gordon era? Probably not. But it's found a pretty comfortable zone here.
Yeah, you just don't have those drivers that elicit those emotions like those guys did.
Correct.
Like, people either loved or hated Gordon or Dale or, any one of those guys, and I just don't think you have that here. Ryne Sandberg passed away On Monday night. Sorry, I don't know how to make a transition from that. 65 years old. He had a battle with cancer. I think it was said a couple of weeks ago that he was going into hospice, right? So we knew this wasn't something sudden. We knew this was upcoming. I could take or leave the Cubs. I love Wrigley. I have a lot of people in my life who love the Cubs. I have no feeling either way towards the Cubs. I'm not pro-Cubs or anti-Cubs. But what I've always appreciated about the Cubs is that, here's a guy that the entire fan base unites around. And, Jake, I'll be honest, I can't think, and some people will be like, Derek Jeter, I can't think of a Yankee that makes Yankee fans feel the way that Ryne Sandberg makes Cubs fans feel. I can't think of a Los Angeles Laker that makes Lakers fans feel the way that Cubs fans feel about Ryne Sandberg. I mean, I'm talking about like the cream of the crop professional organizations in America. It just feels like and this goes beyond Cubs fans. If you were a baseball fan in the 80s and 90s, you appreciated Ryne Sandberg.
Yeah.
You did. Whereas I don't know if everybody appreciated, Kirby Puckett or, there were Wade Boggs. There were other great players from that era.
Derek, I think the thing about Ryne Sandberg that made him unique was there was nothing flashy about him. He was a good-looking guy, right?
That helped.
He was a good-looking guy. But his batting stance was like perfectly – when you see – honestly, when you were a kid and you got a trophy – for playing second-grade baseball and just had the generic batter standing at the top. Yeah. His batting stance was not literally. I mean, I'm just saying, like, Ryne Sandberg's batting stance was just like the typical appearing batting stance. As a fielder, he was not Ozzie Smith. He was not Jim Edmonds. He was not making fabulous, like, over-the-shoulder leaps or diving into the hole, spin-around throws. He just was incredibly steady. He had an unbelievable percentage in terms of fielding percentage. He was a timely hitter. And how many players can you name? Give me – I'll put this to you in trivia form. I want you to think for me of 3 players in baseball history that have defining moments in their career that everyone remembers. Give me 3.
Willie Mays with the –
Okay, Willie Mays with the basket catch. Okay.
Babe Ruth calling his shot.
Okay.
Defining plays.
Joe Carter.
Joe Carter's walk-off home run. Sure.
Kirby Puckett.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
We'll see you tomorrow night. Kirk Gibson. Okay.
Revving. I mean, I'm trying to think of Hall of Famers because, you say like Don Larson wasn't a Hall of Fame player, right?
All of those plays we just mentioned were in the World Series.
Yeah.
How many players can you name that have and I don't mean this as a knock, I mean this is a tribute to him. How many players in baseball history can you name that have a regular season game that is named after them?
Yeah.
That Cardinals game on June 23rd of 1984, I remember it perfectly. The Major League Baseball game of the week. And for the Cubs, it was, oh my gosh, the Cubs are on the game of the week, and they're taking on the hated Cardinals. And Bruce Sutter, the evil Empire closer that nobody can hit. And the Cubs are about to lose this game, and it's a packed Wrigley, and it's a daytime game, and everybody, myself included, is watching it. And Sandberg hits a 2-run homer to tie it and force over, extra innings. And then in extra innings, they're down again. He does it again 2 innings later, and they go on to win that game. That's known as the Ryne Sandberg game. And you don't see many players that have signature defining moments in a game that captivated a national audience. And he did that, and that put him on the map.
As an icon, he's with the greatest of the greats. And look, Ryne Sandberg was a wonderful player, Hall of Fame player, but like nobody would say Ryne Sandberg is the greatest player in baseball history or anything like that, right? But how many people, and this is an incalculable number, right? How many people fell in love with baseball because of Ryne Sandberg? When you think about WGN, I'm not even just talking about Cubs fans.
No, totally.
I'm just talking about how many people born between 1965 and 1990 fell in love with baseball because of Ryne Sandberg. So many, right? And again, this is coming from somebody, I have no emotional investment at all in the Cubs. I'm not trying to prop him up because I love the Cubs or because I love Rhino. It's just, it's a factual statement. He had an impact on baseball like Michael Jordan had on the NBA. I'm dead serious. Like in making people love baseball.
Right.
And he was the Mickey Mantle of that generation.
He was kind of the All-American
so
guy
people.
for sure. You know, one of the things that's interesting, I always marvel over this. Ozzie Smith. Ozzie Smith, if you go to St. Louis, one of the great moments in St. Louis Cardinal history is in the 85 NLCS when Ozzie Smith hit a home run and, you know, Jack Buck, go crazy, folks, go crazy. And Ozzie Smith probably hit 150 home runs in his career.
Yeah.
Ryne Sandberg hit 282 home runs in his career. 282. That's like half of a home run hitter's total. Mm-hmm. But yet he had two of them in the biggest stage of in the regular season of his career. In that game, not once but twice, a guy who was not a home run hitter, the moment picked him. The moment found him. And there's something about great players and elite level talent and generational players that when most people run from the moment, there are certain players that the moment runs to them. And that's greatness personified, and that was Ryne Sandberg. The moment found him.
Yeah, I mean, and he's a guy that, you know, he only played in, what, 2 postseasons? 84 and 89.
Yeah, that's right.
And they didn't – Ryne Sandberg was never on a team that won a playoff series, right? Because 84
Correct.
was before –
they got beat by the Padres.
Yeah, that was just the CS, right?
Yeah.
That was before you would get into the wild card and all that because that didn't come to the 90s.
They were up 2-0. I think it lost 3-2.
And yet I think most people think of Ryne Sandberg as a guy that you would one up at the plate in a big situation.
Correct.
And it's a guy that never won a pennant, much less a World Series. And the Cubs only won the division even twice, right, during his career. So, that says all you need to know about him, too. It's a terrible loss. I had the chance to interview him on the old I think you and I did, too.
We did, too, yep.
Yeah, on the
his
old
daughter,
ESPN 950.
His daughter lived in Carmel.
Yeah, his daughter. Yeah, I remember that. But he came back for one of those. Remember they were bringing back, and he's also not with us, but like Bill Buckner and Ryne Sandberg and Fergie Jenkins. Did he come back too?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And the Indians were doing that. At Victory Field, they'd have these autograph nights, and Rhino was one of the – it must have been in between when he was with the Phillies, and I think he was out of baseball maybe for a little while. And he talked about his daughter and how much they enjoyed visiting in Carmel, and he looked back on his career, and that's one of those interviews. Like when I had the chance to interview Tony Gwynn, who I know you love, Dominique Wilkins. Like when you get to talk to the people you grew up watching,
right.
Even if you didn't have emotional investments in them or their success or their team, it was like, holy crap! Like I talked to Ryne Sandberg. It's one that I kept. I think I have around 40 interviews that I kept. I mean, I kept all of our stuff on a hard drive, but I have a special.
Do you have the one that you and I did?
What's that?
The Sandberg interview.
Yes. Yep. You want it?
Yeah, I could use the audio of him talking about Indy.
I'll send it to you, but the days of me like clipping up stuff for you and sending it to you so it's nice and packaged and all of that, that's over. I bill by the hour on that.
No.
I bill for that.
Yeah, well, I'm not paying that so that you can go on your 5-star Yelp restaurants. You just send it to me. I've got other people now that can cut that up for me.
You know what, Nick and company, or Eddie, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you have to deal with this. Landon, whoever else is back there at Urban One that has to deal with this stuff. I feel sorry for you.
Well,
because I lived that, man.
Them's the way the cookie crumbles.
Life gets better. I just want you guys to know that.
Before you know it, you get hair on your back.
Eventually,
and you fill for a urine break. Right?
You will achieve your dreams, just like I did. That's what I want you guys to know. We come back on the show.
Yeah, but you have an errant hair on your shirt. It's
do I?
Crazy, yeah.
I just trimmed up in here. I'm not even cutting the gray hairs anymore out because I can't keep up with them.
Yeah, they're a little more wiry.
Unfortunately, I just trimmed up. I also I hadn't trimmed up here nose. My nose doesn't go too crazy, but I hadn't trimmed up the nose, and I kind of looked in the mirror last night. I was like, whoa, want to get those. So I hand trim, and then I buzz it too. It's a lot like mowing your lawn. Oh, good, we get the high-end camera. Yeah, see how trim that is? I don't want to take everything out. I just want it to, because I wanted to capture the mucus and all of that. But yeah, zoom all the way in. There you go. See? That's good. That's good. I also sometimes get black hairs on the pores on my nose that I have to tweeze out. I don't know why they grow there.
I'd like to remind people that the guy that just talked about the black-haired pores in his nostrils is the one that allegedly, and I'm using very big air quotes, won the poll of the sexier of the two of us, according to our 108 listeners. Huh?
The girl body hair is coming back big 2025. Remember, like around the turn of the century, body hair was out, and you just shaved everything. And now it's like that's back in, man. Like grizzly bear. Arr. Oh wait, this camera. Sorry. Arr. It's back in. Body hair's in. Sleek, smooth. Sleek, smooth in some areas will always be in. But like up here and everything else, it's in. Still important to maintain a nice garden in other areas. But yeah. Can we get that in post? Actually, I don't like the way that came out. I don't like we'll get that in post. 3, 2, 1. Still important to maintain a healthy. You know what? We're just going to move on. We're going to move on. Quick hits when we come back.
How about this?
Yeah.
Still important to make sure that even if your transition and talking about it is not smooth, that certain parts of your body are.
I don't love that, but okay. That's fine. I kind of liked garden better than that one. Be totally honest with you, my black curly garden. We come back. Quick hits.
Okay.
It's Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network.
At Bailey and Wood,
Let's hit on a couple of our quick hits here on Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network. Thanks for joining us. This has been a great show. I feel like it's been
Well, I'm glad you feel
a really
that way.
good show so far. Lots of good content, and we've remembered Ryne Sandberg. We've talked Colts camp. As we always do, we usually just have a segment, whether it's planned or not, to talk about dude stuff, guys being dudes, male issues, things like that. This is more than a sports show. This is a guy show. Show for guys. Let's talk about the ladies instead. Caitlin Clark, day-to-day, but probably longer. Holly Rowe of ESPN sort of offered this, and I don't know if she meant it to come off this way, but I think some people took it this way as an update on Caitlin Clark. They won the other day against the Sky at the United Center, and Holly Rowe said that the Fever are going to want Caitlin Clark to practice and get her back up to speed rather than just throw her back when she's healthy. So she had mentioned there's a mid-August stretch where there's a little bit of a rest between the Fever have games on the 17th and 22nd. It's a whirlwind schedule. I mean, maybe they can talk about that with the next CBA, like the fact that they really compact these seasons. But that's about 3 weeks from now. So the Fever, where we sit today, have 18 remaining games, so they would be halfway through their remaining 18 games if we're projecting out Caitlin Clark's return then.
Interesting.
You know how I feel about this season. I feel like this is a season that's just not going to get off the ground. It just feels like it's bad luck Brian for the Fever, with not just with the Clark injuries, just
whatever happened to Bad Luck Brian? That was a great Twitter page.
I love that meme.
Yeah.
I love that meme. That was one of my all-time favorite memes. I use that one a lot. Like 2014, 2015, when that was real hot, I use that one a lot. Bryce Harper.
Soft tissue injuries, Derek, which is what that is, are difficult to come back from. And I think there is some – concern is the wrong word, but you have to begin to wonder just the physicality of the WNBA. Do they need to tweak some things or alter some things just in the way that Caitlin Clark, the vulnerability that they put her in positions and situations? And that's going to be the question of how they figure out. I mean, Stephanie White has said these kinds of injuries are tough because they can lead one to the next. And I think they're aware of that, and they've got to navigate through that.
Or is it just bad luck and she'll be healthy for the rest of her career after this year? You know what I
Could
mean?
be.
Like you never know. Bryce Harper and Rob Manfred got into a confrontation.
Cussed him out, right?
Yeah, I told him to get the F out of our clubhouse. Harper did to Manfred when talking about the potential implementation of a salary cap. The confrontation came in a meeting. Manfred conducts these meetings with teams' players, and there were other Phillies players that were in the room as well. And apparently they shook hands at the end of it, so by the end of the meeting, cooler heads prevailed, but Harper did not return his phone calls afterwards.
Really?
Ooh.
Do you like Bryce Harper?
I don't care.
Great player.
Yeah, great player. I don't know how I feel about a salary cap in baseball. And people may be saying, oh, yeah, the Yankee fan doesn't want a salary cap. But, like, salary cap makes sense in the sense that, look, that obviously there's a gap in between what the Yankees and Pirates spend. But also, it kind of lets these owners off the hook. There are some teams that are not competitive in baseball, and it's not because they're doing everything to be competitive. It's because they don't care.
Right.
They're
Derek,
cashing a luxury tax check.
let me ask you this as a dumb question. And I'm genuinely asking.
Or revenue sharing, sorry.
Is there a salary floor in Major League Baseball?
No.
That's the bigger issue.
Yeah. But with a cap comes a floor.
No, I understand that.
So
that's
why a lot of proponents of cap are saying, hey, then you'll get the Pirates and the Indians, the Guardians, and these other teams to actually
correct.
I
get
the
it.
Athletics.
Because that's the issue, right? Is the teams that just completely.
Yeah, it's a joke. Yeah. It's a joke that the Pirates have like a $60 million payroll or something like that. Even if they have no chance at winning the World Series, their fan base deserves better than that. And also proponents of the cap are right that we're talking about the very top end guys are the ones that make the huge deals, and then everybody else kind of gets shafted as far as that's concerned. But I just don't know how I feel about, I don't like limiting anybody's ability to earn in the free market. And I say that while understanding that the NFL and NBA does exactly that.
Right.
So
the one thing it does,
I don't have a take on it because I don't know how I feel about it.
Honestly, if you are a fourth level mid-relief pitcher, you want a salary cap because that's going to force teams.
It's going to raise your
correct.
salary.
It's going to raise the bottom, right? The bottom salaries are going to go up. But if you're Bryce Harper, you don't because it's like, yeah, I'm making $70 million a year. You know, what I mean?
Juan Soto or any of these guys that really cashed in.
Who's baseball's highest paid player?
I think it's Soto, isn't it?
I would think it's Soto.
Didn't he sign the biggest deal? Wasn't it like $70 million or something?
Let's see here. I mean, how's it not Ohtani?
Well, it's just whoever got paid most recently for the most part. Let me look at it. I got it right. Highest paid player in MLB. Juan Soto, 15 years, $765.
I mean, that's decent, right?
Ohtani's making $70 a year. 10 years, $700 million.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, Soto's AAV is $51 million.
Okay, so let's figure this out real quick. You ready?
Yeah.
So Shohei Ohtani, you said $70 million per year?
Yeah, so Ohtani has the highest AAV. Soto has the highest contract total.
Okay. Now, what would you guess? He's in California, so he's got to pay a what? So we'll say he's paying – I'm taking out taxes here.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so then he's making – after taxes, okay, he's making this much per year. Let's see here. Okay, after taxes, he's making – that can't be right. 25 million? 26 million?
Out of the 70 million?
That can't be right.
It might be 26 million in taxes.
That's the amount taken out.
Yeah, so he'd make 45.
So he's clearing, let's say, 44 million, right? So that means that do you think he has every 2-week direct deposit?
Yeah, like it just shows up and it's like $13 million has appeared in your account. I mean, wouldn't that be insane?
So every 2 weeks, after taxes, he gets a check. He checks his, direct deposit, and he gets $1.7 million dropped into his bank account every 2 weeks.
Wow,
that'd be pretty sweet, right?
I mean, and that's the name of the game. Like
after taxes,
a lot of people are looking at total value of the deal, but the AAV being 70.
Do you think he has a 401k?
That is a crazy.
Do you think he's like, no, I've got to put 8% into my 401k and let it grow?
A crazy AAV. He puts 8% into his 401k, and that's my entire 401k when I'm 75 years old.
Yeah.
Right? Hopefully. I'm shooting for that number. And then finally, Tyrese Halliburton got engaged.
Congratulations, by the way. At Iowa State,
Jade,
right?
Yep, at Hilton Coliseum, which is pretty cool. Him and Jade have been together for a long time, and she's real active on social media and all of that. So congratulations to Tyrese and tying the knot. Ty is tying the knot.
So somebody got a ring.
Well, yeah, Jake got a ring.
Yeah, I know. He was close.
Is that really what you want to do? Like that injury is still very fresh, and you want to make a joke about that?
I'm just saying, she got a ring.
Oh,
they were so
Vince,
close.
Yeah,
man.
right. Like that.
They were so close.
No,
man.
dude.
Yeah. See, look.
You're not. Who wrote that? Charlie? What's wrong with you guys? Like, I'm not even a Pacers fan, and that cuts me deeply.
I didn't
At
say
least
to
somebody
knock
got
on
a
him.
ring.
No, I didn't say that. I said she got a ring.
Guy
He was
blew his
close.
Achilles in the first minutes of Game 7. It's like the most devastating moment in Indianapolis sports history. It happened like 4 weeks ago.
I know, it was awful. I'm saying it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's so awful that you made a joke about it a month later.
No, it's being optimistic.
Ugh,
Somebody got a ring.
God.
Congratulations.
We were having a good show until that. Now it's just, ugh. Chateau Kitchen's Biter Boldly will try
You're
to
showing off
salvage
your nose hairs.
what's left of this.
You're getting on me?
That was great content. We come back, we'll tie a bow on it. Episode, I don't even know where we're on, 246 maybe? It's Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network.
Hey, AC, which games are we going to tonight?
You know we cover all sports in Central Indiana. Hop in. It's going to be a long night.
Bailey and Wood Mortgage Lender, proud partner of News 8 Sports Hummer.
Hey, AC,
Nice snap.
mortgages in a snap. Duh.
Bailey and Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
Back for a final time here on Corey and Schultz, ISC Sports Network, alongside Jake. I'm Derek. It's good Sando, isn't it?
It is great.
It's good Sando. Market Street was our Hoagie of the week if you're just joining us. Hoagiesandhops.com, 42nd and Boulevard. Also want to shout out our friends at Chateau Kitchens. ChateauKitchens.com is where you can start your project. In-home transformations is what they are in the business of doing, and whether it be your kitchen, Chateau Kitchens, bathroom, basement, wet bar, indoor patio, anything on the interior of your home, Chateau Kitchens can help you. ChateauKitchens.com. Don't take my word for it, even though I'll send you pictures of my shower if you want. I'll send you pictures of me coming out of
Nope.
it. I'll be fully
Nope.
well, not fully clothed. I'll be in a towel.
Nope. Don't need to see it.
We've shared that on this show.
Yep.
I'll
Everybody knows.
send you this. If you guys really want it, I will send it. It's on my camera roll. I will send it to you. I have before. There's actually been a lot of interest in this photo, and I think it's helped kind of spark Chateau Kitchens. Do we have the basement one too? Yeah, there we go. That's good too. That's a good one too. It's a good one. Jake, did you see the basement one? We've since hung some stuff up in there. So that was like right after our basement got finished. But that's the product. You can see the walls there. Just a nice coloring. Nice and bright and vibrant. Thanks to Chateau Kitchens, the cabinets are just gorgeous. You can see kind of the handles on there. They're strong. They're firm. They're bulky, like in a good way, in all the right spots. So it's sleek. It's sexy. It's just it's everything. I mean, it transforms your home. That's really what it is. Beautiful homes for beautiful
Chateau
people.
Kitchens does unbelievable work. There's no question
They do,
about
yeah.
it. And they've
Yep.
redone almost every area of your home.
They have.
And
Yes.
they have done such great work, whether it be in your
Wonderful.
kitchen, which, I mean, modernized it. It took your kitchen into it was like walking into.
Yeah, there was a ceiling fan in my kitchen for some
What's
reason.
that magazine, like Condé Nast or whatever? Like you walk in and it was like, oh my gosh, like,
Yeah.
this is like being in a magazine.
Gorgeous.
And then the basement looks fabulous. At one point, there was just a toilet sitting down there. Now it's
Was a
this
random toilet,
completely
yeah,
done
1900s toilet.
office and man cave and the whole deal. So that's all. And then the shower with for whatever reason, you guys have two shower heads. And
Well, that was the guest room, the guest bathroom, my son's shower.
But that shower,
Yeah.
that when they were doing that, I saw that it was literally you could live in that thing, and yet you decide to show the picture that is just absurd. Nobody wants or needs.
It's
to
more
see that.
natural to do like that. Wasn't like a posed photo. Like it was just we're showing your everyday life, and like this is your
Your
home.
everyday life is you walking around your basement in a towel.
Well, actually, that's not a proper reflection of my everyday life for the most part. Usually, I'm nude. It's my own house, so I did the towel just to cover it because I wanted it to be appropriate. I wanted it to be tasteful. So that's what we did. I wanted to just
You're
be
a nudist.
I was looking. I'm not a nudist, but it's my house, dude. Like you don't walk around naked in the 2-bedroom apartment where you live alone.
No,
Are there windows in your apartment? You're on the bottom floor, right? Yep. Yeah. I mean, there's one or two, right? Window bays up there. I've been in there before. Not when you were nude. But yeah, no, I'm in my own house. I'm comfy.
you weren't there when I was there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Only Boo was in there hiding from me.
Well trained cat.
But I don't even know where we went with that. At Chateau Kitchens, Instagram and Facebook. Check it out yourself. And I mean, you already saw those pictures. It's spectacular. It's inspiring, really, more than anything else. I'm inspired when I see those photos, and I'm sure You are too. Here's what we do with Chateau Kitchen's Buy It or Bull Bleep. I give a statement. Jake and I go back and forth whether we buy it or
I have one for you.
it is Bull Bleep.
Buy it or Bull Schultz. Until this week, you'd never heard of corn sweat.
That is, I buy it. I did not know what corn sweat was. It sounds horrible. It's actually just not that weird. But yeah.
We're driving up here. We filmed just outside of Indianapolis. We're driving up north, and just as I got north of Lebanon, all of a sudden I'm like, is something on fire?
Yeah.
And I asked somebody at the gas station, like, oh, no, that's the humidity from the corn sweat.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
It's like just a cloud.
Yes, it's amazing.
It's actually kind of like a scientific phenomenon. It's kind of neat. It's
part of the water
I'm
cycle.
not real nerdy about stuff like that,
No,
but
it
is kind of cool when you dive into stuff that you had no idea about. That it's just science, man. Science is weird. The AFC South champion will win a playoff game. Buy it or Bull Bleep.
100% Bull Schultz. I mean, why start now? Right?
If you look back at some of the AFC South playoff wins, like I remember there were a couple of years where this was before C.J. Stroud, where Houston won the division. And do you remember they played a playoff game against T.J. Yates and maybe the Raiders? Or I'm trying to think. T.J. Yates had Brownsburg ties, didn't he? Wasn't he like briefly in Brownsburg for a little while? Yeah, the former North Carolina quarterback.
Okay.
I think it was the Raiders they beat. And then there was another win that they had that it was like 12-9. And I think it was Josh Allen's rookie year. I think they beat Buffalo and they won like 12-9 or something like that. It was a really like just an ugly game. Some of the wins have not been super impressive, or they've beaten each other. Like the one Colts playoff win in the last 10 years, they beat Houston. They crushed them. Remember, they were up 21-0 in that game in Houston. By the end of the year, they were the best team in the division, even though they didn't end up winning the division that year. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say Bull Bleep just because history suggests that an AFC South team is not going to win a playoff game.
I'm going to give you one. You ready?
The division looks crappy again.
Buy it or Bull Schultz.
Yeah.
The World Series in 2025 will feature two teams who are making their first series appearance in this century.
You know what? I am so, not checked out on baseball, but the Yankees have been so annoying to watch. They've been very up and down, with a lot more down than up lately, that I haven't had the ability to watch a lot of other teams.
You've got Toronto. You've got Detroit that could be there, although they're fading. You've got Milwaukee.
Well, wait,
that could be
win
there.
it or appear in it?
Appear.
Well, Detroit's appeared in it in the 21st century.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Couple times.
Win it. Sorry,
okay.
Win it. So you got Detroit, you got Toronto, you've got the Padres.
I mean, Seattle's in second place.
Seattle.
I
mean, the Brewers. Did I say the Brewers?
Mets. Mets have not won it.
Yeah.
21st century. Brewers have not won it. Who else are we talking about here?
I mean,
Padres, did you mention?
Yeah.
Okay.
The bottom line is, Dodgers, Braves, Yankees, Red Sox,
Astros.
Astros,
man. They're like cockroaches. They just won't die. I mean, just to be fun, I'll say, sure, I buy it, and baseball's had a good amount of parity, but I don't know. Toronto's won like every close game. They've been, I think, more lucky than good with their record overall. The Tigers are really good. I've watched enough baseball to know that the Tigers are really good.
They're backing up a little bit, but yes.
Yeah. Mets have a nice roster. What's weird about this year is that you have nobody that's running away and hiding this year.
2 weeks till my annual White Sox game. Let's go.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
They have more wins over their last 38 games than the Yankees do. That's how bad the Yankees have been.
They're waking up.
That's how bad they've been.
They're surging.
Thank you to our tremendous sponsors, Chateau Kitchens. I'm going to send Steven that clip because I think he's really going to like that clip that we just did with the photo and everything. The photo's real popular at Chateau Kitchens, not just among our viewers and listeners. Hoagies and Hops and Chili Water Brewing. Again, Hoagie eating contest September 13th. Email me for more details. Derek, D-E-R-E-K at QuarionSchultz.com. And our friends at Bailey and Wood Financial Group. For Vince, for Charlie, I don't know, I even saw Sean pop his head in. He got excited because we were talking about Ryne Sandberg. He's Jake. I'm Derek. We will see you next time here on Query and Schultz, ISC Sports Network.
At Bailey